Welcome to Manifest Anything You Can Imagine podcast, the podcast that empowers you to turn your dreams into reality using the law of attraction. I'm your host, Papi DiNuzzo, and together we'll dive into the mindset, strategies, and energy shifts you need to create the life you've always envisioned. Whether it's health, wealth, happiness, love, relationships, or spirituality, inspired by my transformative book, Manifest Anything You Can Imagine, each episode brings you practical tools, inspiring stories, and bold insights to unlock your limitless potential. Get ready to manifest your greatness, and let's dive in.
Give a fish, teach to fish, delivering hope. A Paying It Forward self-improvement and personal development charitable community outreach initiative. Founded, supported, and funded by DiNuzzo Private Wealth, Inc. Thank you for joining us today. Papi has been inspiring his fellow brothers and sisters all over the world. He's been speaking to students in Kenya on a weekly basis and reaching out to other parts of Africa. He's also preparing to speak to the Collegiate Entrepreneurs Organization at their global competition in Tampa, but he's never too busy to help others. So if you're looking for an inspirational speaker, please book Papi to speak to your organization or book him to speak him for free to your nonprofit group that would love to hear his message of hope, inspiration, abundance, and peace of mind. Let's go to Papi to set the table. Good morning, Papi.
Oh, Mikey and Suzanne, namaste. The spirit in me greets the spirit in you and all of our fellow brothers and sisters who are joining us today. So thank you so much. Yes, we've been busy lately. Looking forward to filling everybody in on that so they can follow us and help along. Just to mention again, Mike, I love mentioning this every time that I mention universal intelligence, universal subconscious mind, universal light, source power, and source energy. I'm speaking 100% all the time from a 100% spirituality, the highest and most neutral point possible. I don't ever talk about religion or anything like that at all. So I'm coming to you today, as I always am, from a point of spirituality, talking about source power from the highest, most neutral point possible. And I'm just so happy and grateful now that today is a magnificent day. I am so happy and grateful now that I am not going to give up my heaven on earth today. And I am so happy and grateful now that I have created my masterpiece today. So again, Mikey, just to remind our audience, if you want to be successful, you need to win your day. If you want to win your day, you should do everything that you can to win your morning. When do you win your morning? You win your morning as soon as you wake up in the morning. At 5 a.m., Thomas Troward was a genius in his day, and he called that the magic hour, the golden hour from 5 a.m. into 6 a.m. And I would suggest doesn't matter what time you wake up, when you first wake up, keep your distance from all technology, stay in your place, wake up as long as possible. When you're waking up, stretch that out as much as possible. When you're in twilight, when you're close to your subconscious mind, and you're already starting to feel your way into your day, you're emotionally leaning into your day. You're not going to do visualizations on your 3, 4, 5, 6 most important tasks. You're going to accomplish those every day with phenomenal success, but beyond your wildest expectations, what you could have previously even imagined before, by manifesting those with emotion. You're going to emotionally manifest the greatest day in and day out. So again, I come to you from a perspective that you are an eternal spiritual being. You are endless. You are just having a limited experience in a 3D body. So that's great news. You've been here forever. You're going to be here forever. We live in a thought world within a thought universe. That's one of the biggest forks in the road whenever we start out, that I'm reminding you, you live in a thought world within a perfect and infinite thought universe. And I talk about the book, Mikey. I was talking to a gentleman who I have been coaching for a while, and there are certain things that happen. You get caught up in the news, or you get caught up in social media, and it's easy to get off of your game, so to speak, or get out of flow for your vibration to be a little bit lower. And he reminded me yesterday that how much success he has playing my audiobook. It's in my voice. I narrate my audiobook. I'm reading it and walking you through it. He just has a lot of success with that. So reading my book, Manifest Anything You Can Imagine. So again, reading it and or listening to it on audio has been very, very powerful for a lot of people. So I suggest, until you get everything down, to really stay focused, not to go out and try to learn from 5 or 10 different sources at one time, but, focus on my book, Manifest Anything You Can Imagine. And once you get it down, then you can expand your universe, no pun intended. I want to remind our audience, Mikey, that we've got our social media campaign fully up and running: Instagram, X/Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok. And the real active ones, of course, are on Instagram, Twitter, X, YouTube, and TikTok. Facebook, we're building out. We're going to probably have our tribe there, our community there on Facebook as well. But I would just recommend, if you are active in social media, please follow us and engage us on social media. We've got a great program up and running. It took quite a while to really get this in a sweet spot, but I've got a great team together that we're working together and putting out a lot of great information. And I'm just really looking forward to engaging with you via social media as well, and you introducing us to our other fellow brothers and sisters and expanding our footprint for us to be able to help our fellow brothers and sisters in need, delivering this message of hope, inspiration, abundance, and peace of mind. You know, Mikey had a real good talk with Hawa. She's just been a blessing. She was born and raised outside of Darfur, Sudan, and she and her family, she has a large number of brothers and sisters. A lot of them moved to Uganda to get out of harm's way. Now, Sudan is forming into a couple countries, from the best of my knowledge. The southern part, I think, is going to be the better part, the safer part. But whenever you talk to folks like this and the challenges they have, and she's introduced me to so many wonderful people. And again, Mike, I want to remind our audience that if you're thinking about a need as in something like that, you're going to be in a lower vibration. When you're thinking about a want, you're going to be in a higher vibration. So even if you're thinking about, I meet so many of our fellow brothers and sisters, Mikey, who have just hearts as great as the big outdoors. They love their fellow brothers and sisters and they care for them. And you've got to be real careful, because if you're thinking about some of our brothers and sisters' needs and just fill in the blanks, if you think like they're up against it, they've got a challenge, they've got it tough, etc. If you're focused on the pain and on the agony and on getting simpatico with the feelings that they have and how that is, that's not going to help. That's a low vibration. If you're focusing on an improved outcome, on something that can help them, on leading them forward, setting an example, that's the high vibration. That is the only way that you're going to be able to help your fellow brothers and sisters, not by, for lack of a better word, commiserating with them, but by lifting them up, providing them with hope and inspiration. And the universe says over and over again, Mikey, that words do not teach. Words don't teach. It's our physical example. It's our physical example is how you teach. So how we teach is through physical examples and leading our fellow brothers and sisters. So again, the last one I want to share with you, had a great little story here the last week with Suzanne. And Suzanne's talking with her husband, and they've been looking at an RV at a camper. They've been doing a lot of research, and this all came up just within the course of a couple of weeks. So that's why I say sometimes the universe says, Pappy, it doesn't matter how big, medium, or small it seems, it could be manifested in a day. Some things might take 5 days, 5 weeks, 5 months, 5 years. It just all depends. There's divine orchestration going on. There's over 8 billion of us, our fellow brothers and sisters, me, Mikey, Suzanne, all of us, 8 billion plus of our fellow brothers and sisters, who all have thoughts, who all have feelings, who all have intentions. So the universe is managing all of this, and there's timelines, and the universe knows all and brings all in the best manner possible. But Suzanne, her husband, just started taking a look at this RV camper, one that they just fell in love with just a couple of weeks ago. And they're looking at it. I'll just give you the executive summary here, but they're looking at it, and they're going through everything, looking at, what size, what model, the interior, the finish, the colors, the complementation. And just think about this. And when I'm talking to Suzanne about this yesterday, I could see her eyes getting bigger and bigger, and her smile on her face is getting larger and larger. So my point is, they're doing this, and they're doing it with a lot of emotion. The number one law in the universe is the law of attraction, is how this all works. And you will attract into your life what you think. That's what you're attracting into your life. You will attract into your life even more and faster what you think, and what you think with emotion, when you apply emotion. Suzanne and Jeff, her husband, are applying a lot of emotion. This is a happy thing. We're in this RV, this camper. We made this big decision just within a couple short weeks. Long story short, I don't have to drive a half a day to the dealer, which is in another state away from here. The manufacturer is a couple of states away from here. The manufacturer contacts her and her husband. Real long story short, but says, we are going to deliver to you the RV camper, let you pick out every single thing, which they never do, and says, we're going to deliver this RV camper to your front door. to your front door, which no one ever does. Never, ever, ever happens directly from the dealership exactly the way that they want it. That's an example of manifesting something that they manifested. Everything in your life is just, you just have to believe me. Just believe me and just go with this. If you've been on earth for 20, 40, 60, 80 years, I talk about your HWH. How happy are you with your grades on your health, wealth, and happiness, love, relationships, partnerships, career, everything out there. If your grades aren't as good as they are, just work with me. Just walk down this path with me, that you live in a thought world within a perfect and infinite thought universe, all operating off of perfect and infinite universal laws. And that's what Suzanne and Jeff tapped into. And bam, within a couple of short weeks, from not even being a gleam in your eye to this thing getting close to being on your at your front door, right at the end of your sidewalk outside of your front door. So this is just examples. When you start to take a look at this in your life, it will start to, your subconscious mind will start to talk to you and bring this to you. You are attracting into your life what you think, and you are attracting into your life even faster what you are thinking with emotion. So I love happy stories. As we always like to say, we love happy around here, and that's a happy story. So I'm really very pleased to share that with you. So Mikey, what do you have up next?
Oh, yay for Suzanne. That's awesome. Congratulations.
Yeah,
Talk about it being like a child on Christmas morning, like you talked about. Like that's
yeah,
a perfect example of it. So that's great,
yeah,
great news. And it's also exciting about the social media platforms. That's a huge accomplishment.
yeah.
All of us, we find ourselves scrolling through social media all the time. And you and I both know that there's no such thing as a coincidence. So like when you're scrolling through there and something just pops out at you, it's like, wow, this was meant for me to see. And to know that you're out there on social media now, when you're scrolling through it, to see your message out there, I think that's great. And we can all use a little bit more positivity in our algorithms. So I think it's great that you're out there. So congratulations to both of you, to all of us. That's all great news. And while we're talking about positive algorithms and positive news feeds, Pappy wants to provide us with positive messages on a weekly basis to our email box. And he does that by giving us 2 concepts to live by to everyone on our mailing list, remembering that repetition is our key to manifesting. And what concepts would you like to share with us today, Pappy?
Yeah, Mike, in the social media, thank you for going back into it again. It is very exciting to be able to share this with countless fellow brothers and sisters of ours, of course, all over planet Earth. And as you said, Mikey, getting some positive news, positive flow in that algorithm for what they're taking a look at and what they're watching. We're getting a really good feedback, and I'm just really looking forward to it. I've been blessed to meet a gentleman by the name of Andrew, who's very, very good at this. I always talk to our audience, Mikey, about that each of us has a very, very, very special gift. And I believe this is Andrew's, that this is a unique ability that he has. And he just done a phenomenal job with it. And every week we're meeting 2 times a week right now, and just getting in the same vibration, the same harmony as far as understanding what the message is. And he's just picking it up and laying it down so well. So very, very grateful for that. Very grateful that Andrew came into my life and how great of a job he's doing. On the concepts to live by, Mikey, some of the recent ones we sent out, I'll cover one or maybe two today. The first one from a couple weeks ago was spiritual DNA. And I can never give too much. And it's fine, Mikey, if people identify them. They said, people tell me all the time, Pappy, that's a great pep talk. Pappy, I love your pep talk. So I'm not going in with, like a pep talk in mind, like a college football coach or something in a locker room. But there's nothing wrong with that. We love happy around here. So let's be upbeat. And I don't find any greater solace or comfort with anything I could think of other than when you really think about, Mikey, how special you are, how special Suzanne is, how special I am, how special every single fellow brothers and sister of ours who are within any range of us right now, audio, visual, social media, any way, shape, or form, that we all have a perfect spirit inside of us. We have perfect spiritual DNA, and we have a perfect spiritual spark. So the one we sent out is spiritual DNA, but anytime I talk about this, they all three sort of blend together. So I talk about them together, but we've got a perfect spiritual DNA. We were like this eons and eons and eons and eons ago. We were like this in like I always think of like just a large, beautiful ball, so to speak, one solid object, if you will. And the creator of the universe, source energy, said, one day I'm curious. One day I'm curious. And from that point, we all were here. Now, we were here, we felt a love and a connectivity and togetherness and oneness and a wholeness that is beyond anything that we could describe with our human emotions, our feelings. I say, take love. People ask me all the time, Pappy, your messages, and that, they'll say they'll say some of it or part of it, and I'll say, yes, it's one of hope, inspiration, abundance, and peace of mind. And they'll say, Pappy, really, what is the essence of it? I mean, that's 4 words, but what's the essence of it? And I'll say it's the essence of everything. My message and the essence of everything, the essence of my message and the essence of everything that comes from the creator, from source energy, is love. Love, love. That's at the epicenter of this whole entire universe. That's what everything's based off of. So when we're in that state, we're in pure harmony with the universe. When we're not in that state, we're out of harmony with the universe. So we're all one. Universal source energy says, I'm curious. I want to expand. I want to further express, expand, increase, and grow. And out we went, all 360 degrees. So source energy, Mikey, we all, every 8 billion plus of our fellow brothers and sisters, are an extension of source energy. There's source energy inside of all of us. That's where our perfect spirit resides. That's our perfect spiritual DNA. That is our perfect spiritual spark. When I talk to our fellow brothers and sisters, as you mentioned, Mikey, I'm teaching over 200 students in Kenya right now in the Freehold School in Nakuru, Kenya. And every time I can look in their eyes pretty good, even on a Zoom meeting, even though it's virtual, we're like halfway across the globe. And every time I tell them, I have a slide that says, you are very, very, very special. And that slide gets all kind of positive reaction every time. And Miss Pamela, who's the teacher and the guidance counselor, will say, how many times, what did Pappy say about you? And they'll say, I'm very special. And Miss Pamela will say, how special? And they'll say, very, very, very special. And when I tell them that their spiritual DNA inside of them, 13, 14, 15 years old, all the way across the globe, halfway across this globe, and sort of a country's been war-torn and strife, and next to countries have been war-torn and strife going on. And I tell them that their spiritual DNA is exactly the same as mine and all of our other fellow brothers and sisters on earth. And Mikey, the smile on their face, it's priceless. It's absolutely priceless. The positive energy that flows through them, that we all are special. Every one of our fellow brothers and sisters, no matter where they're at, no matter what their circumstance, race, creed, color, country of origin, anything, tall, short, wide, thin, whatever, all have the same creative power within them, that we all have the same creative power to manifest anything we can imagine. And it comes from the greatest base on earth. So if you ever want to give yourself a little pep talk, I am so happy and grateful now that I have a perfect spirit inside of me. I am so happy and grateful now that I have perfect spiritual DNA inside of me. I am so happy and grateful now that I have perfect spiritual spark inside of me, and that all of this is an extension of source energy. Same exact, Mikey, spiritual DNA and spiritual spark as source energy. It can't be any pure. It can't be any better. It can't be any more astounding. And it can't be more of a carte blanche for you to go out and just absolutely create, be able to manifest anything you can imagine and create the life of your dreams. The next one, Mikey, I have, I'll touch one. Well, boy, this is a big one, subconscious mind. Let me see, Mikey, because I went a little bit long there. Let me hold off till next week, Mikey, on these, because all the ones we have are pretty heavy, going to take a little longer. I'll just put a pin in it there, and then we'll pick up next week on concepts to live by.
Sounds great. Well, you know what, you may not think it's a pep talk, but it definitely is a pep talk because, I mean, who doesn't want to hear that they're special, and who doesn't want to hear that the universe already thinks they're perfect? Like, to me, that's a pep talk to me. And, it takes you out of that not enoughness mindset and puts you into a mindset of abundance. And once you're in that mindset of abundance, like, all those good things are going to start happening for you. So, you are giving us a pep talk every day, and I appreciate that. And, that's what a good coach does. He gives us a pep talk. And you also help us with manifesting the law of attraction. And that's what you're going to help us with today on your manifest coaching tip. What do you have for us today?
Yeah, manifest coaching tip, Mikey. And we switched this a little while back, and I'm really happy that we did. And what I'm trying to do, what I'm doing rather on the manifesting the law of attraction manifest coaching tip is giving something tangible, literally action items, things that you physically do. So this isn't theory or anything else. This is literally for you to take action in building your daily ritual, your weekly ritual, your monthly ritual. And again, Mikey, what our fellow brothers and sisters hear me say all the time is this is not a get rich quick strategy, a Roman candle, a one night wonder, whatever else it is. What I'm teaching and coaching you is a manifesting lifestyle. A manifesting lifestyle. This is something that you can get at least 1% better every day. And as you get 1% better every day, you just continue that and you build momentum and you will eliminate so many bad habits. Even a year from now, when you look back a year from now on your former self, if you mark down today where you're at and you look at yourself a year from now, if you continue on this manifesting lifestyle that I'm teaching you and coaching you up on, you won't even recognize yourself. 5 years from now, you'll be in such an advanced place, you won't even remember anything about where you're at today, that you have 10x your life and potentially multiple times over and over. And I think about this, Mikey. I came across, you had that great quote from Muhammad Ali last week, and I'm not sure if I was thinking about how great of a quote that was. And the universe, that's what we attract more of what we're thinking about. I'm thinking about, man, that was just the greatest quote, the greatest quote. That's like something, I like, yeah, I played sports when I was growing up, like I said, football and baseball and basketball, but especially football and baseball. I love sports. I love playing them and everything else. I'm thinking, man, that's just such a great, Muhammad Ali is one of the greatest boxers of our time here for the United States of America. And I'm thinking about it, lo and behold, Mikey, it was, I think, a couple days after that, I'm looking through and I see a quote that I've never seen before. So I saw a quote from Usain Bolt. And Usain Bolt, gold medal winner, fastest person on earth, sprinter, runs a very short race, 100 meters, and he was the best of the best for a number of years, Usain Bolt, B-O-L-T. And his quote, Mikey, was, I trained for 4 years. I trained 4 years to run for 9 seconds. He said, I trained for 4 years to run for 9 seconds. That's how long his race lasted. He ran 100 meters in less than 10 seconds. He says, I trained for 4 years to run 9 seconds. And I see people all the time that train and try something for a couple of months or a few months and they quit and they give up. So just think about that, Mikey. That's what we're talking about here this can absolutely, will absolutely change your life and improve your life beyond anything you could imagine in your wildest imagination, because you've been living your life outside in, everything coming at you, the news, parents, brothers, sisters, family, friends, relatives, coworkers, your career, your job, social media coming at you, the news on TV, the news on the radio, anything, all these things coming at you from all these different directions. You've been living outside in. And as I said, you're catching spears, you're jumping on hand grenades, you're putting out fires, you got all these challenges all day long. And your vibration, which dictates everything, your energy, your vibration, your frequency, which dictates everything, is not being generated or dictated by you. It's by all these sources outside you, all these suggestions, I call them, the universe calls them, all these suggestions that are coming at you. And that's telling you how you're going to feel. That's been dictating how you're going to feel. That's been dictating how you're going to think, what your frequencies are that you're sending out. And that's what you're attracting to you. You've got low vibration, low frequency. You're attracting back to you low vibration, low frequency outcomes that are matching up with that. So Usain Bolt, just think about that again. He's not trained for 4 years to run for 9 seconds. What I'm talking about is something that is life-changing for you and can 10x your life and 10x it and 10x it and 10x it again. Every one of our 8 billion plus fellow brothers and sisters, Mikey, can and does deserve prosperity. The universe is ensured. It's in the universal laws that every one of our fellow brothers and sisters can achieve prosperity, a happiness beyond anything that they can currently imagine, that it is available to them. But I call it, Mikey, the game of life. And any game that you're ever playing, you want to understand what the rules are. And the rules are that we live in a thought world, not a physical world, a thought world within a perfect and infinite thought universe, all operating off of universal laws. So these are the rules of the game. So we talk about, Mikey, getting on a good ritual. And one of my steps is I'm working on a thing right now, Mikey. Once I'm done, I'm doing a recap on the book. I'm going through each chapter and I'm going in a deep dive and having like a lot of narrative and comments on each chapter. So it was very long because I got a lot of information before chapter 1. Then I'm going through all the chapters and a couple recaps at the end. So it's going to be like a 21-day jump start whenever I make this available to the public, a 21-day jump start to your manifesting lifestyle. And this is one of the key 21 elements as far as the action items is your weekly review and preview. So very, very briefly, Mikey, I think our fellow brothers and sisters may have heard me talk about your evening review and preview. Well, this is your weekly. So you want to do this ideally on Sunday, maybe Sunday evening, and you're previewing your entire week and even further. So every day you're looking at your 3 most important tasks, maybe 4 or 5, usually a maximum of 6. But we want to look at Sunday evening, your 3 most important tasks for the week. And these can be projects. These can be projects. This may take 3 months, 6 months, a year, whatever else it is. And you're working on a little bit this week. You're working a little bit the following week. So we want to take a look at where are you at on your 3 most important tasks. And oftentimes these are longer term projects. How did you do the past week on those? And you want to give yourself your feedback on your 3 top most important tasks. You say that first one, looking back on it, I had a meeting on that last week. I had a face-to-face meeting. I had a virtual meeting. I need to work and prepare that for a couple of hours. I did block out a couple of hours. I knocked that all out. It was an A+ for the week. That was fantastic. I literally lived a 10X version of myself. That was an A+. Then my next one I take a look at, and I could have done a little bit more here, a little bit less there. Did really good on a lot of it. Maybe I give myself like a B on my report card. Or as they say in Kenya, Mikey, they corrected me. The highest grade in Kenya is a 4, then it goes 3, 2, 1. So not ABCs like we're talking here in the States. So if you're from a country where a 4 is the highest grade, so you got a 4 in that first one. Then the next one, if you have a little bit to do, you came close, we would say a B here in the United States, B as in Bravo. Maybe from somewhere else, that would be a 3. Then you look at your third task and say, by the time you weigh everything out. But the point is, Mikey, we're giving ourselves this instant feedback, and we want that positive feedback for what we did well, what we accomplished, and what we nailed, and what we just totally knocked out of the park, what we did really, really well. So that's great positive feedback. And then we're looking at, not in a negative sense, but just where can I improve at? How do I modify it? So what we're doing, Mikey, is what are we doing? We talk about all the time. We want to be a little bit more positive and or a little bit less negative, and maybe ideally in one day, a little more positive and a little less negative. So this is your weekly feedback on your most important tasks. So let's say, Mikey, my weekly review and preview for a number of times over the past decades has been, let's say if I'm writing a book, if I was working on one of my 6 books, that's a multi-month process. That would have been one of my weekly review and previews. How did I do this past week? What was my goal for the past week to accomplish? The upcoming week on my preview, what am I going to do? Okay, I need to set a meeting. Maybe I have 3 meetings. When am I going to work on it? Which time am I blocking out? So these are for the larger, most important tasks than our daily ones. But again, don't ever be critical or harsh on yourself. Just keep an open mind. And if you're looking at what you did well, give yourself all the credit in the world for that. Other areas that you can improve, when you take a look at that, because what happens, Mikey, on these areas to improve is if you're not performing optimally in a certain area from here to here, once you're getting your feedback, you're going to be making that list smaller and smaller. You're getting better and better. So you're putting more on the good side of the ledger and less on the bad side. So your weekly review, where you review your past 7 days, and your previewing the upcoming 7 days. And I mentioned as well, Mikey, this is not just for work. This is for everything I mentioned: health, wealth, happiness, relationships, love, partnerships, career, job, family, whatever your 3 most important tasks are. That's what you're working on. This is your whole entire life that I want you improving all across the spectrum. This is all related. So your weekly review and preview, extraordinarily important. And again, Don't overthink it. You just start on a process. You just take it one week at a time. And although we're talking about this, Mikey, it would take a lot less than me explaining this right now to get this done. After a while, you can get this done maybe in 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, but even just in 5 minutes, once you get on a routine, you'll be able to review your previous week, preview your upcoming week, and you'll be able to improve your efficiency and your success, again, beyond your wildest estimation.
That's awesome. I love that coaching tip. There's this thing I go through. It's called like the Sunday scaries, and a lot of us get it. The weekend's over, and you're like thinking of all the things that you have to do during the week, and all the things you didn't get to do over the weekend. And since I started doing like the weekly preview and review, what helps me is that I changed the way I think about things. So instead of saying these are things I have to do this upcoming week, I say, these are things I get to do this week. And then I look back on the weekend, the review, and I say, and these are the things that I'm so happy and grateful that I got to do. And then the Sunday scaries don't seem so scary when you're like giving yourself, a progress report, basically seeing what you still have to do, what you get to do, and how well you did the last week. So I think that's a great habit to get into. And it definitely doesn't take any extra time. You can do that when you're doing your affirmations too, you're journaling. And I know that you always have a daily affirmation that you do as a habit in your lifestyle. And it always starts out with, I am so happy and grateful now that. What would you like to share with us today?
Yeah, Mikey, before the one I have to share, I just came up with a new one. I am so happy, grateful now that Mikey is never going to experience the Sunday scaries ever again, or even mention that word. So I'm really happy that I was present the last time that you're ever going to mention those two words together, Sunday scaries. So I really feel privileged that that's the last time we'll ever hear that. And I was thinking, Mikey, that the Olympics are going on right now, and Simone, who is a wonderful gymnast from the United States on the women's team, she's just tremendous, and the country loves her. She's just a darling. She's very good at what she does. But when she pulled out before, Mikey, she was going through it, and I got to hear some of that interview, and she was talking about, and it reminded me when you said the Sunday scaries, because she said she got the twisties, and the interviewer asked her, Simone, what are you talking about? She says, well, that's why I dropped out of the competition before. I was in such a bad mental place, and the twisties are, there's a lot of times when your body's flying through the air. And I mean, when you take a look at what she does with her body on these different gymnastic events, I mean, she's doing triple flips and twisting around and somersaults, all these kind of things. And she was basically saying when her head's in a different place in her body. So what do we always say, Mikey? One of my sayings is always make sure your head is where your feet are at. Her mind was not where her body was at when she's going through this. So I would love, love to be Simone's mindset coach, because as I'm thinking, Mikey, what she's talking about, with how competitive it is and at the high skill level and talent level for what she does, you don't want to let yourself ever get anywhere close to where she went into, because so she got so deep into that, Mikey, that she literally had to shut it all down. She walked away and said, I'm done competing. I'm done with this. And she was away from it for, I think, maybe competitively 2 years. Don't quote me, but I think it was close to 2 years was how bad that was. So she should have never got there. So let me just give another little tip, Mikey, since you remind me this from the Sunday scaries led into the twisties and led into this, is that your mechanism for immediate feedback is your feelings, is your emotions. Pay absolutely phenomenal attention to how you're feeling. That is the litmus test of where you're at. Your higher self, and I try not to get too deep, Mikey, but I'm just going to mention this part here. Your higher self, when I say you're an extension of source energy, your higher self agreed with a mechanism to communicate with you, to help you, because there's just love everywhere. There's love and success for everyone, and the best life, manifesting anything you can imagine, living your best life, enjoying your best life. And the agreement was that we won't be able to recognize emotions. So when you're in a negative emotion, that's your higher self telling you you're out of harmony. You're in a bad place. So as soon as you start to receive and get in a place of discomfort, a negative emotion, a bad vibration, you need to put the brakes on as soon as possible and slow that down and stop that immediately. If not sooner, say, well, what's going on? Where is this coming from? And you need to, if you can, identify that thought and stop that and turn it around right away, because the law of attraction, Mikey, is great. Whenever we think of a happy thought, When we think of a happy thought, Mikey, with the law of attraction, typically that pulls in another happy thought. That happy thought pulls in another happy thought. If we're thinking of a negative thought, the law of attraction typically will pull in another negative thought, and then another negative thought, and another. So we need to break this chain, break this cycle where we're starting with negative thoughts coming into us, creating low vibrations and low frequencies. So I just said when I heard her interview, I said, man, I would love to be Simone's coach and never allow her, not so much, Mike, even for that to happen. That would be, of course, the obvious goal, but be able to teach her how to identify this hours, days, weeks, or even months in advance before we ever get to that point. You can't be competing at that high of a level of athletics and not be able to recognize or have these tools in your toolbox that as soon as that negativity comes into you, that low vibration, low frequency, you got to put the brakes on right away. And you have to start pulling out your limiting belief tools, and you've got to cut off that power, shut the light out, close the door, whatever it needs to be done to turn that around. So that thing to me had been out of control for a while with her. And I do empathize with her. One other thing I want to mention, Mikey, is that this all starts with a want. And a lot of times our fellow brothers and sisters say, Pappy, I'm down with this and I'm down with that and everything else. And I'll say, okay, well, let's get started. What do you want? And they'll say, Pappy, I don't know. Well, first of all, I'll say, how are you going to know what to ask for if you don't know what you want? And a lot of our fellow brothers and sisters, Mike, with health, wealth, happiness, and everything related to that, don't know what they want. So it all starts with the want. So I just remind our fellow brothers and sisters that you can make up an affirmation for anything. You can create an affirmation. It isn't like a secret recipe or something. Whatever you want, create an affirmation. You say that affirmation, and it's an auto suggestion. And you're suggesting this from yourself to yourself. So it could be, I'm so happy and grateful now that I want to know what I want. Just whatever the affirmation is. I am so happy and grateful now that I want to know what I want. Simone or someone could say, I am so happy and grateful now that I am receiving information about what's placing me in this negative vibration. Just put it out to the universe. Just ask the universe for it. And I say right before you fall asleep at night, that's the most important time to ask the universe your most important questions. But just do affirmations. You can say these to yourself throughout the day. You can have self-talk with yourself throughout the day so you can never be in that type of situation. Now, getting back to our affirmation for today that came out of my book, we rotate through these. I am so happy and grateful now that I constantly hold in my mind. So I constantly hold in my mind the purpose of manifesting my goal through the realization of my mental image. And it's this affirmation here, Mikey, that got me thinking about Simone and her situation, to constantly hold in your mind the purpose of manifesting your goal. And your goal, Mikey, starts with your want. That's why I just mentioned that a second ago. You identify your want, and if you want it bad enough, it goes into the rich treasury of your subconscious mind as a desire, and you continue to desire it. Your want equals your desire equals your goal. It's like a chain reaction. So your want ends up being your goal, and then through the realization of your mental image. So again, everything is created twice on earth, once in your mind, and then second, a physical object back of it. But I am so happy and grateful now. We always speak in the present. We always want to be present, aware, and conscious. Okay. We always want to, everything is in the present. The universe is eternally grounded in the present. Most people will sneak things in there, Mikey. When I talk to them, I could be talking to someone for a while, and months later, they say, hey, Pap, it's going real great. And they'll be talking about an affirmation. I'll say, well, give me an example. And they'll say, I will, or I'm going to, or when I something else. Those fall on deaf ears with the universe. It always has to be phrase and position in the present. So we say, I am. And I always capitalize the A and the M. So obviously it's capital I, then the next word is M, capital A, capital M. So you say I am, you are recognizing this perfect spirit, perfect spiritual DNA, and perfect spiritual spark within you, that you are an extension of source energy. Now, it takes a little while to get that confidence, but once you do, you're like, yeah, I've got source energy inside of me. I can do anything. I have creative power inside of me. I've been given free will to make decisions on anything that I want to, whenever I want to access creative power to manifest anything I can imagine. So thank you, Mikey, for picking out another great affirmation to share with our fellow brothers and sisters today.
And thank you for simplifying that too. Affirmations basically are just what you want. So I think that's great. I think it could be when you put it that way, it's very simple. So I'm so happy and grateful now that there will be no more Sunday scaries and no more twisties. So that's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah,
So now we can
that there are, Mikey, that there are no wills. Yeah, that there
yeah,
are.
that's right.
Oh,
There
yeah.
are.
Okay. That's all right.
Sorry about that. So now
That's
we get to
okay.
the part where our listeners get to ask Pappy some questions in our Speed Manifest dating segment. If you have a question for Pappy, please go to the website and click on the Ask Pappy link at the top to submit your questions. And today's question is, how important is it for me to have a goal?
That's very good. Mikey, just to go back, and I love you to death. I'm not picking on you, but when Mikey just said sorry, that's a word that I want all of our fellow brothers and sisters, including Mikey, to eliminate from your vocabulary. So we never say we're sorry. It's a long story on that, but basically it's a negative vibration we're putting out. So instead of saying you're sorry, if I'm going to tell someone I'm sorry, instead of me saying I'm sorry, I would say, I appreciate your understanding. I'm so grateful for your understanding. Thank you so much for your patience. Thank you so much for your kindness. So a lot of times there is patience or kindness or understanding, whatever is involved. And that's a happy vibration. That's a high vibration versus something the sorry word. So I want to eliminate that from everybody's conversation because people go around all day just putting these words out. You say you're sorry 5 times, and you're not canceling or rejecting that. And we're talking about, again, a little bit more positive, a little bit less negative. And that's one of those ones that just sneaks in on the negative side. So we don't want to give any of our power away just for no reason. So the first question, Mikey, that you have up today, how important is it for me to have a goal? And this was just relating we were talking to. You did a great job as always. The agenda just like flows right through so seamlessly. But the goal again is tied back into your want that Mikey and I have been talking about here throughout today's show. So how important is it for me to have a goal? You cannot accomplish anything proactively. And again, what we're talking about is proactively manifesting. You all have manifested everything in your life right now. You have manifested everything in your life right now. Typically, it's been hodgepodge, helter skelter, non proactive, reactive, living outside in instead of inside out. So, what we want to do is use our imagination and just open our mind. And we want to be thinking about health, wealth, happiness, love, relationships, partnerships, career, family, whatever it is. And we're thinking about this. We're using our imagination. We're having ideas. And then we want to identify what's my number one want. We want to identify our number one want. And that goes up. I talk about that big circle around your head with a horizontal line across, a C up here for conscious mind, SC for subconscious mind, smaller circle down below with a B on it for body, one little line connecting it, line up on each side for your arms and your hands, a line down on each side for your legs and your feet. And this goes down into that bowl, which is your subconscious mind. And in there, it turns into a desire if you want it bad enough. Then if you desire it bad enough, it will turn into a goal. And that's what you want to work on is your goal. Now, what I teach is one 10X goal, a big goal, one big goal at a time. So you would have your most important task, Mikey, let's say your TMITs, TMIT, your 3 most important tasks. That would be considered your goals for your day. You may have 4, 5, or 6. So you have 3, 4, 5, 6 goals today that you want to accomplish. We're going to nail those and get an A+ or a 4 on our report card by feeling our way into the day. We're going to manifest those through our emotions. We're going to manifest that end result, that great score on a report card through our emotions. Now, our 10X goal, we have a know goal, KNOW, something you can do. It's just a little bit better than what you're doing right now. Then you have a think goal, which is instead of this much better, maybe this much better than what you're doing right now. And that's something you think you can do. Now, those reside in the top half of that circle, Mikey, in that C, the conscious mind. You will never manifest any 10X goal using your conscious mind. This all comes from the rich treasury of your subconscious mind, the empirical research. And I don't like to talk about research and scientists all that often, but it's been clearly identified that 5% of what you accomplish is accomplished in the top half of this circle, your conscious mind. 95% of what you accomplish is in the bowl, the bottom half in your subconscious mind. So we want to understand it. We want to get in there. We want to utilize it. You have all knowledge and all power of all time resides in your subconscious mind. So we want to identify one big goal. That's your 10X goal. one big goal, your 10x goal. And again, we want to get to the point where we have 100% confidence that we are manifesting this goal. And on the back end of it, Mikey, I want to remind our listeners about allowing this in and allowing it to the point, Mikey, this goal that we're manifesting, that we're even beyond allowing and we're expecting it. We are fully expecting it. So not just allowing it in. If you know that you're going to achieve your 10x goal and how you're going to be notified is through an email, then you're expecting that email. You're looking through email. Oh, where's the email from ABC company? You're expecting it to that level that you know it's in there. You know it's on your way and you're expecting it. That's the back half of us achieving our goal. So how important is it for me to have a goal? Your goal all starts with your want. You have to know your want. That's what launches this entire ship for you to be able to manifest anything you can imagine. Your want matures into a desire. Your desire matures into a goal. And that's what we're focused on is the goal for your health, wealth, and happiness of your dreams.
That's a great idea. You're talking about your subconscious mind too. And I think it helps to have your subconscious mind likes images. And I think what your students in Kenya called it was a dream board. I think it's good to have like your dream board up there. And just to remind you, goals aren't always something to get. They just help you grow. And I think that's important to remember too. So do you have time for another question or should we move on to
yeah, let's move on to the next part, Mike. I went a little bit long on a couple, so thank you for your patience.
Okay. So I just had that remind me of a story. One of your listeners said last week that they were having a yuck day at work and they watched one of your mindset coaching videos on their break and it helped them to feel like more encouraged. It reminded them that their spiritual spark is awesome. And that was his words. And I know that there are times where you don't have time to watch the videos, but you always have time to look at the book and look at some of the positive quotes that you have in your book. And I know that you want to share one of them with us today.
Yes, Mike. Yeah, this is one you picked out today is from chapter 14, in my paperback book. Always remember the key to being in harmony with universal intelligence and successfully manifest is that you should always strive to provide your fellow brothers and sisters with the impression of increase. And that's a key word, impression of increase, and deliver a use value that is higher than the cash value you receive from them. Papi DiNuzzo. So what you just said a second ago, Mikey, about it's all about goals. And most people think goals are to get. Goals are not to get, as Mikey was just introducing. Goals are to grow. This is all about further expression, expansion, increase, and growth. And what did I say at the top of the show, Mikey? If I could sum up this whole entire agenda, everything, if I could sum up the whole entire agenda, my whole entire book, the whole message, everything, LOVE. It's all about love. It's all about improving the world that we live in. It's all about any of our fellow brothers and sisters who we engage with, that they lead that engagement. They lead that engagement with a higher elevation, that they're better off for meeting us. And I would say, Mikey, what I think what this is, what strikes me all the time is that, and I've gone through my ups and downs in this, we're all human. But I think if you walk down a street and you're going to, let's say, your local coffee shop, you take a break throughout the day and you have to walk down the street, maybe from where you park, and it's a third of a block or half a block or maybe a block. Just think about this, Mikey. If you walk down that street and if you don't say hello, and if you don't say hello and attempt to make eye contact and put a big smile on your face, how many people say hello to you and make eye contact and give you a big smile if you didn't do it? There's not many, right, Mikey?
No, none.
Yeah,
Not at all.
not many. I mean, I'm a numbers guy, so I could give you the statistics, but it's sort of like 9 out of 10 or 10 out of 10. Now, walk down the same street, go into the same coffee shop, and proactively, before someone's like right up on you, give them enough time. Good afternoon, good morning, how are you doing today? Make eye contact with them and give them the biggest smile. And the majority of times, Mikey, they greet you, good afternoon, good morning, with a big smile and with positive, like you can even see their body language change. The universe says, Mikey, that can make so much difference that we can't even imagine. Just what I just described right there. Putting that positive energy out can have like the ripple effect. I'm going to get a butterfly effect. but the ripple effect of improving that person's day, and that's positive energy and the momentum that that can create. So just think about that, Mike. You may walk by 5 people on your way to the coffee shop, wherever you're going. It could be in a grocery store. You improve 4 out of 5 people's lives there. I mean, the universe states emphatically, Mikey, that this can literally, if you're walking down a coffee shop, it could be in the morning or early afternoon. Just say it's in the morning because most of us drink coffee here in the United States, at least. And if you said hello to someone who would not have engaged you, you smile at them, they smile back, and you make eye contact. You let them know you're being genuine, that you're genuinely welcoming them, engaging them, and hoping that they have a good day, a good morning. That alone, Mikey, can make their entire day. That alone can make their entire day. That they could have a successful day because of that. It's because of that, but also because of the ripple effect, what else that can cause. Because like attracts like, happy thoughts generate more happy thoughts. Negative thoughts generate more negative thoughts. So just that chain reaction you could have started, or even just that one moment, just never underestimate how powerful you are. So what we want to do to mention here, Mikey, is the impression of increase. The impression of increase. So you could even look at this. There's some really intelligent business entrepreneurs that I know. And you could say there's in business, Mikey, what you would call is the ask, A-S-K. And that's when you ask someone for something. And in business, there's a lot of reasons to ask. You want an introduction to someone. I want you to buy my valves, what I'm selling, or sign this contract, whatever it is. A lot of things to ask. That's how you generate revenue, by asking people for things. But just think about, Mikey, if someone meets someone else and they come in and I meet you and I'm selling something and I'm trying to convince you to buy off of me, what if I come into you and I'm ask? Just think about where you're at. What if I came into you, Mikey, and I was give, 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 give? So if I came to you, Mikey, and I was give, then ask. What about that? Makes all the difference in the world. Makes all the difference in the world. So that's what we're talking about here is you deliver your impression of increase when you're a high vibration, you're putting out positive energy. We've talked about this before. I'm not saying this in a negative sense, but we all know, folks, that if we're around them for even a couple minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever it may be, we are done with that interaction. And our shoulders, instead of being, they're like scrunched over, and our head, our posture, we literally have materially less energy after engaging with them. And human beings don't want to engage with folks like that. You want to be of the mindset. What did Nikola Tesla say? It's all about energy, vibration, and frequencies. You want to be sending out positive energy, a high vibration, a high frequency. And when you interact with people, they're going to get a positive feeling, that impression of increase from you. And you're always looking to deliver a use value greater than the cash value. You want every one of your fellow brothers and sisters to be better off for interacting with you. They come out with a higher vibration. They're saying great things about you. They want to interact with you even more. When can we talk again? I'd like to talk to you again whenever my sales cycle comes around again in 3 months or 6 months, when I need more of the service or product or idea, whatever you're generating, whatever you're selling. So again, very, very important, Mikey. We don't think about, this is the impression of increase, Mikey, that we deliver is a result of doing things the right way, of everything we've talked about on today's show. If you do things in the manner which we talk about on today's show and all of our shows, you would just naturally be delivering what I call the impression of increase, your fellow brothers and sisters. They will view you as an advancing person, as an advancing personality. They're going to want to be around you. They're going to want to do business with you. They're going to want to help you. If you're working on a philanthropic or charitable endeavor, they're going to want to help pitch in on that. Not even like necessarily donating money to, but like, hey, what can I do to help you? I want to be part of whatever you're working on, whether it's business, whether it's personal, family, philanthropic, charity, whatever it may be. So again, we're always looking to deliver our impression of increase and deliver a use value that's higher than the cash value we're receiving from our fellow brothers and sisters.
What a great quote. Everyone should do their best to leave a positive impression on every person that they come in contact with. I mean, you never know what anyone's story is. So you should leave them feeling valued and uplifted and inspired. And you did that today for us, Pappy. So thank you so much for reminding us all that we are capable and deserving of manifesting everything that we can imagine. I appreciate it so much. If you need a Pappy Mindset Coach, be sure that you're signed up on pappymindsetcoach.com to receive Pappy's free educational emails. and get access to upcoming live events conducted by Papi to help you manifest the health, wealth, and happiness of your dreams. Thank you.
That's a wrap for this episode of Manifest Anything You Can Imagine podcast. Keep those dreams big and your mindset unstoppable. Take one step today toward the life you're manifesting, because you can create anything you imagine. If you can think it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand. Visit PapiMindsetCoach.com for more resources and follow us at Papi Mindset Coach on social platforms for daily inspiration. If you love this episode, share it with someone ready to transform their life. Until next time, stay focused, stay positive, and keep on manifesting your best life. See you soon.